Have you ever met someone who just drains the life out of you the second they open their mouth? Maybe it's that coworker who always has something negative to say, or the friend who claps when you succeed, but deep down, you know they're hoping you fail. Maybe it's even family, the kind that leaves you feeling smaller every time you walk away. Here's the truth. Toxic people aren't just annoying. They're dangerous. They infect your energy, your confidence, and if you're not careful, your entire future. Machiavelli, the ruthless genius of power, saw this centuries ago, and he gave a brutal warning: never tolerate people who poison your strength. So today, we're breaking down Machiavelli's brutal law of power, how to spot toxic people, how to deal with them, and how to walk away without guilt, without apology, and with all your power intact. So how do you actually know when someone is toxic? It's not always obvious. They don't walk around with a big red sign that says, "Warning, I'll ruin your life." Most of the time, it's way more subtle. Think about the people who always twist conversations back to themselves, or the ones who give you compliments that feel more like little stabs. "Oh wow, you finally did something right." That's not support. That's poison, wrapped in a smile. Sometimes it's the friend who disappears when you need them, but magically shows up when you're winning, just to bring you down a notch. Or that coworker who pretends to help, but secretly hopes you mess up. Machiavelli would call these people hidden enemies. He believed they're more dangerous than the ones who openly attack you because you see the sword coming. But a toxic person, they'll cut you slowly until you don't even realize how much weaker you've become. Here's the test. After spending time with them, do you feel smaller, less confident, or somehow less yourself? That's your body telling you the truth. Healthy people lift you. Toxic people drain you. It's that simple. And here's the kicker. You don't need them to openly betray you to know they're a problem. Machiavelli's warning was clear. Watch people's patterns, not their excuses. If someone consistently chips away at your peace, your progress, your self-worth, then they're toxic, period. The first shield of power is awareness. When you can spot the subtle cuts, the fake laughter, the jealousy in their eyes, the constant negativity, you've already taken the first step toward freedom. Because once you see who they really are, you can stop letting them operate in the dark. Now here's where most people get stuck. You see someone's toxic behavior, and your first instinct is to help them. You think, maybe they're just insecure. Maybe if I'm patient, they'll change. That's the trap, and it's exactly what toxic people want you to believe. Machiavelli was ruthless about this truth. People rarely change their nature. If someone shows you over and over that they thrive on negativity, manipulation, or jealousy, then that is who they are. Think of it like this. Trying to fix a toxic person is like trying to convince a snake not to bite. You can feed it, care for it, even love it. But the second it feels threatened, its instinct is still to sink its fangs into you. That's just its nature. And the more time you spend trying to heal them, the more power you hand over. Every explanation, every second chance, every late night talk where you pour your energy into them, that's energy you'll never get back. Meanwhile, they're not losing sleep over you. They're feeding off the control. Let's get real for a second. You're not their therapist, you're not their savior, and you're definitely not responsible for their happiness. When someone is committed to being toxic, no amount of kindness will rewrite their script. Here's Machiavelli's brutal wisdom. Stop believing people's words and start believing their patterns. If someone repeatedly drags you down, mocks your goals, or undermines your confidence, that's who they are. No amount of excuses or apologies changes that. The faster you accept this truth, the faster you free yourself. Because the longer you cling to the idea of fixing them, the deeper their poison spreads into your life. You don't cure toxic people. You cut them off. That's the hard truth. So, what actually happens if you keep a toxic person around hoping they'll change? The cost is way higher than most people realize. At first, it's small. You brush off a rude comment. You laugh at their sarcasm, even though it stings. You tell yourself, "It's not that bad, I can handle it." But slowly, their poison seeps in. Your confidence starts to shrink. You hesitate before speaking up because you already know they'll mock you. Your wins don't feel as big anymore because they're always there to remind you of your flaws, and your energy, gone. It's like carrying a weight you never agreed to hold. Machiavelli warned about this exact trap. A ruler who tolerates corruption in his circle eventually becomes corrupted himself. The same is true for us. If you let toxic people sit at your table, sooner or later, you're the one who pays the bill. And it's not just emotional. The cost shows up in your opportunities. You'll miss chances because you were too drained to act. You'll hesitate on big moves because their doubts echo in your head. And sometimes, they'll even sabotage you directly, all while pretending they're just being honest. Think about it. Every minute you spend dealing with their drama is a minute you're not building your life, your dreams, your power. That's the real price. It's not the fights, it's not the stress, it's the lost time. And that's the one thing you never get back. Here's the ugly truth. Tolerating toxic people doesn't just hurt you, it rewires you. It trains you to expect less from relationships. It convinces you that love or friendship always comes with pain. And once that mindset sets in, you start accepting even more toxicity because it feels normal. That's the danger. It's not just what they take from you today. It's how they condition you to settle for less tomorrow. So what do you do once you see the truth? Machiavelli didn't believe in half measures. His law was brutal but clear. When someone threatens your power, remove them completely. Now that doesn't mean you need to explode in drama or burn bridges in flames. Power isn't about chaos, it's about control. Cutting someone off can be quiet, calculated, and final. Here's the shift. Stop explaining yourself. Toxic people live for explanations. They'll twist your words, guilt-trip you, and drag you back into their web. Don't give them that satisfaction. You don't owe them a debate about why you're done. Silence is the strongest statement you can make. And don't wait for the perfect moment. There isn't one. If you're hoping they'll do something bad enough to justify leaving, you're already trapped. Machiavelli would say, the moment you see someone weakening your position, act fast before the damage spreads. This is where guilt comes in. A lot of people hesitate because they feel bad, but they're family. But we've been friends for years. But what if they change? Let me be blunt. Guilt is the rope toxic people use to keep you tied. And if you don't cut it, you'll keep choking on it. Instead, think about it this way. Every time you remove a toxic person, you create space for someone better to walk in. You're not just losing a relationship, you're regaining your energy, your peace, your focus. Machiavelli's wisdom is cold, but it's survival. Protect your circle like a fortress. If someone's loyalty is fake, if their energy is poison, if their presence weakens your power, they don't belong in your life. Period. The most powerful move you can make is walking away without looking back. No guilt, no apology, just freedom. So you've made the cut. The toxic person is out of your life. At first, it feels strange, almost empty. You might even second-guess yourself, thinking, did I do the right thing? That's normal, because for so long, their negativity was part of your daily atmosphere. But here's where the real transformation begins. When you remove poison, your system starts to heal. The energy that used to go into defending yourself, explaining yourself, or doubting yourself, it suddenly comes back to you. Machiavelli believed that once a ruler clears corruption, his kingdom grows stronger. The same happens with your life. You've cleared space. Now you get to rebuild with intention. Start small. Notice how much lighter your mornings feel when you're not dreading that text or that encounter. Pay attention to how much more confident your voice sounds when you're not bracing for ridicule. That's not a coincidence. That's your strength returning. This is also the perfect time to reinforce your circle. Toxic people thrive because they isolate you. They make you feel like you need them. But once they're gone, you have the freedom to choose better influences. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your wins, who challenge you to grow, who make you feel stronger, not smaller. And here's a practical tip. Replace the habit of reacting to negativity with the habit of creating something positive. That might mean diving deeper into your work, learning a new skill, or just spending time on things that genuinely make you feel alive. Because every moment you invest in yourself builds armor that no toxic person can pierce. Machiavelli's law wasn't just about cutting people off. It was about securing your power afterward. If you leave the space empty, the wrong people creep back in. But if you fill it with purpose, with allies, with growth, you become untouchable. This is the stage where you stop surviving toxic people and start thriving without them. And that shift is where real power lives. Here's the bottom line. Toxic people will never stop being toxic. You can't fix them, you can't save them, and you can't afford to keep them around. Machiavelli's brutal law of power is simple. Remove what weakens you, protect what strengthens you. Think about your life right now. How much energy have you wasted on people who don't deserve you? How many nights replaying their insults? How many opportunities missed because their voice of doubt echoed louder than your own? That's the real cost, and you don't need to pay it anymore. Walking away isn't cruel, it's survival. And once you do, you'll realize something powerful. The peace you feel without them is worth more than any fake friendship, any draining relationship, any tie built on guilt. That peace is priceless. Machiavelli didn't just write about rulers and kingdoms. He wrote about you, about how power is lost when you let the wrong people sit at your table, and how it's regained when you guard your life like it matters, because it does. So here's your challenge. Take inventory of your circle, who lifts you higher and who pulls you lower, and then ask yourself the hard question. Do they deserve a seat at your table? If the answer is no, then you already know what Machiavelli would tell you. Act fast, cut clean, don't look back. Because at the end of the day, your power, your peace, and your future are too important to sacrifice for someone who never had your best interests at heart. So stop waiting. Take your power back, protect your circle, and never again apologize for cutting off the people who are silently killing your spirit. This isn't just survival, it's dominance. And once you master this law of power, you don't just deal with toxic people. You make sure they never control you again. Power moves don't stop here. If you want more brutal truths from Machiavelli, hit subscribe, because knowledge is power, and this is where you get it.